Hey readers, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Paloma, and today's video is going to be about the books I'm going to be reading in November, as well as a giant book haul and a DVD collection haul. So let's get started. October was a very rough month for me in terms of reading. I only managed to finish 2 books out of the 5 I had been planning to read. So a lot of the books that I'm going to be reading in November are just rollovers from October, and if I get around to it, it'll be books that I did not finish in September either, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how I'm feeling, because I thought I had a better handle on the reading situation and managing my time, but turns out I didn't. So I will be continuing A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. I am about 40% in, I think. At first, I really didn't like it because it reminded me a bit too much of Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, and I did not like that book. But unlike Catcher in the Rye, we're going to kind of see the main character grow up. In Catcher in the Rye, we kind of just stop right there, and I was like, I don't see any growth in this character at all. So we're going to see a bit of growth in this. Because, yeah, I really didn't like Steven at first. I thought he was very annoying. I was like, this kid has anxiety to the max, and we need to do something about this. So hopefully, as he's getting older and he's experiencing new things in that, he kind of grows a bit more, especially when he starts to become an artist and things like that. So very excited to continue reading. James Joyce's writing was very different to what I am used to, so it was a bit difficult to get into it at first, coupled with the fact that I just did not like Steven. So now that I'm kind of used to the writing style, I think I'll like it a bit more. Then we have Murders in the Rue Morgue and Other Stories by Edgar Allan Poe. Some of these short stories were not short. They just dragged on for a little bit too long for my liking, and I learned that Edgar Allan Poe married his cousin, and it's reflected in some of the short stories in here. Sure. Of the ones that I've read so far, the ones that I like the most is Mask of the Red Death, Hop Frog, The Pit and the Pendulum, The Cask of Amontillado, and Eleonora. No, Ligeia. I think I like Ligeia more than Eleonora. I have 3 more short stories to get through, or maybe 4. I have 4 short stories to get through because the Goldbug short story is the one that is taking me the longest to get through because it is too long. I'm gonna try and finish it, but just know that I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about finishing the Goldbug. I really want to get through it and just move on with my life. Then we have Dracula by Bram Stoker. This one I'm enjoying more than Edgar Allan Poe. I think Bram Stoker does a really good job at creating intrigue through the letters and the diaries of the characters. I really did not know that this was going to be diaries and letters and things like that. I thought it was going to be a traditional storytelling, but I think this is better in terms of what Bram Stoker is trying to convey. He's not telling you what Dracula is doing. He's showing you through the eyes of other people and how vampires as a whole infect the entire human ecosystem and things like that. I can't wait to continue this. I think I'm going to enjoy it a lot, especially once we get kind of closer to when everybody comes and attacks Dracula. My favorite character so far is Mina. I think she's super duper sweet. I think she's not meant to be in this story because she's too pure and too good for all of this tragedy that is about to happen. There's also an American character in here. He's like a cowboy. I thought he was really funny because the cultural difference between a cowboy and like a prim English rose like Mina is just really funny to like read or like see in real life. It's super cute. I love it. So for the past 2 years, I've been doing Noirvember, where for the entire month of November, I watch movies in the noir genre, whether it's classic movies or in the modern era. And I decided I wanted to try it out with books. And so I will be doing Miami Noir, the classics. These feature stories from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, Damon Runyon, Zora Neale Hurston, Edna Buchanan, James Carlos Blake, Charles Wilford, and others. I am from Miami. Somehow I don't really read a lot of stories set in Miami or Florida in general, so this will be a very good opportunity for me to get into it and kind of just see what's going on. Because I will say, the stereotype about Miami is sometimes true. And so to see kind of like the dirty, seedy side with like crime elements and things like that, I think I'll enjoy it. This one is a hopeful, but I really don't think I will get to it in the month of November, is Brother I'm Dying by Edwidge Danticat. I am really picking this up because the Miami Book Fair is coming up soon, and Edwidge Danticat is supposed to be doing 2 panels, and I'm hoping to attend at least one, and maybe even get my copy signed if that's even a possibility. This is my grandmother's copy, and I think it'd be really interesting to get the autograph of an author of a book she's had for so long. It'd be like kind of full circle, you know, to get the autograph, me read the book, she has read it, that kind of thing. I thought it'd be really nice. Hopefully, by the grace of the book gods, November will be a better month for me in terms of reading, and I have that chance to kind of get through these books and just get through them. That's the main thing for me, is just to finish these books. I think it's very obvious that I'm a slow reader. And so, you know, it's taking me a bit of muscle work to kind of read multiple books at the same time and to still comprehend what the book is trying to tell me. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Then to switch things up, I want to talk about the movies that I have recently purchased. If you know me, I am a huge fan of movies. I have logged at least 104 movies on Letterboxd as of November 1st. And the minute I saw the Criterion Collection was having a 50% off sale on their DVDs, I was like, we got to take a look and see what is out there. It was the most stressful time of my life trying to figure out which DVDs to buy. Oh my God. I was taking stuff out of the cart. I was putting them back in. I was like, do I really need this? Am I really going to watch it? Like, it was just really ridiculous. And so I did it. I made it. I survived. I think the 5 DVDs that I have purchased are good. I think so. The first movie is Farewell, My Concubine. I don't think a lot of people know that this was actually a novel by Lillian Lee before it was adapted into a movie. And this is the book here. I read the book first before I watched the movie because I saw this on my mother's bookshelf first. And honestly, I know a lot of people have watched the movie first, but I do really recommend reading the book. I think it just goes a bit more in depth on the relationship between Chung Do-yi and Dwan Xiaolo. What's kind of omitted from the movie is the full circle moment between the two characters at the end in their final meeting. It's alluded to in the movie at the beginning and at the end, but it doesn't really showcase, you know, the amount of trauma that they went through and, you know, how it's impacted their friendship in their later years when they no longer can do the opera and they've kind of resigned themselves that they'll never shine on the stage again. And Lillian Lee does a really great job at reflecting that pain, and it's just not really shown in the movie other than the other points of pain that happen throughout the movie. So, if you've seen the movie, I really recommend picking up the book, just as devastating as the movie. Leslie Chung, I will love you until the end of time. He was the perfect person to play Chung Di. Like, nobody else could have played him. I mean, honestly. The next is High and Low by Akira Kurosawa. If you also take part in Noirvember, really great noir movie. I watched this a couple months ago, I think in September. Either September or August. Either way, fantastic movie. I am obsessed with the way Akira Kurosawa blocks his movies. There's a scene where all the policemen are inside Gondo's house, and if you took a screenshot, it literally looks like it could be staged on a play. Like, that is how well the blocking is, and how well the camera works alongside that blocking, and just everything about it. And what's really interesting is that it was adapted from Ed McBain's detective novel, King's Ransom. I personally have never read the book, so I don't know how well it's reflected in the movie. Even if you've never read the book, it's still a great movie. Highly, highly recommend. Then I decided to pick up 3 movies that I had never seen before. I don't really know why. For me, I was like, if I'm going to spend my money on this Criterion Collection, I'm going to get 2 movies that I love, and then I'm going to get 2 movies that I potentially will come to love, because I've seen it, you know, celebrated on Letterboxd or on movie talk. We have All We Imagine as Light by Payal Kapadia, and this is the winner of the Grand Prix at the Cannes Film Festival. It is a deep-rooted study of the fortifying power of friendship propelled by moving performances and the director's compassionate eye. I wanted to watch this so bad when it came out. I was like obsessed with the trailer, and then I found out it was not going to be streaming anywhere, at least within the United States to my knowledge. So when I saw this on the Criterion Collection, added to cart immediately. I can't wait to watch this. I'm really excited. Then we have The Learning Tree by Gordon Parks. Gordon Parks is arguably one of my favorite photographers of all time. And so to be able to get a movie that is directed by him, that is semi-autobiographical, I'm excited. This is a clear-eyed coming-of-age odyssey, based on, like I said, his semi-autobiographical novel, The Learning Tree. It follows the journey of Newt Winger, a teenage descendant of exodusters growing up in rural Kansas in the 1920s, as he experiences the bittersweet flowering of first love, finds his relationship with a close friend tested, and navigates the injustices embedded within racist legal and educational systems. I've seen clips of this on TikTok, but clips is not the same as watching the movie in its entirety, so I am excited. And what I appreciate most is that all these DVDs come with a little booklet that kind of tells why it was added to the Criterion Collection. If they had a chance to speak with the director, that's also in there. So for this one, it features excerpts from his memoirs, his novels, and so this is Returning Home. This was part of his memoir, A Hungry Heart, which he published at 93. Good lord. Then I have Touki Bouki, a film by Djibril Diop Mambéty. Again, this is a movie I have seen recommended from filmmakers and for a very long time, and Matt Dillon's visit to the Criterion Closet is kind of what pushed me over the edge to get this. This has been on my watch list for a couple years now, but the thing about it is I couldn't find it on the streaming services at all. And that's kind of one of the big reasons why I picked out 3 movies I had never seen before, because I could not find them on streaming services to save my life. So, very, very excited. This is a stunning mix of the surreal and naturalistic. This is a fractured portrait of the disenchantment of post-independence Senegal in the early 1970s, with avant-garde sensibility characterized by vivid imagery, bleak humor, unconventional editing, and jagged soundscapes. It demonstrates Mambety's commitment to telling African stories in new ways. For the last year or so, I have been working to kind of consume more African media, whether it's through film or in novel form. So this is a really great place for me to continue on that journey. I started watching on Becoming a Guinea Fowl on HBO Max. I never got around to finishing it. I need to, because the first 30 minutes, wow. So I am excited. I'm very happy that I have this and that I'm able to watch it. I'm going to watch it soon. I need to get on my Zoom and get started. And so then the final part of this video is going to be my gigantic book haul that I did recently from my local library. I think I've talked about this before, but my local library does book fairs where for $5 they give you a bag and you fill it up as much as you can, and that's it. You literally buy as many books that can fit in that bag for $5. And I went home with 2 bags and I came home with 15 books. It was a lot heavier in my hands when I was there. So it just makes me laugh every single time I think about it, because they're literally just sitting on my floor because I have no space on my bookshelves. I have to redecorate my bookshelves again to fit all these books here. I'm going to do a rapid fire go through because a lot of these books I picked up, it's kind of surface level reasons. I did not really think about it. I either remember that I had seen the title on TikTok or it's been recommended to me by family or friends, and that's basically it. The first is The Testament by John Grisham. Arguably, I picked this up because there was a whole section dedicated to just John Grisham. He had so many books. So I want to take a look and see what's going on here. I want to know why he's got so many books and why so many people love them. Then we have Prelude to Foundation by Isaac Asimov. Kind of picked this up for my dad. I He loves Foundation more than I do. I recommend the TV show. I don't recommend the book as much. I He drags on a bit, and he's not very good at writing like female characters. So it's a hit or miss with me with Isaac Asimov. We have Kindred by Octavia Butler. I finished Parable of the Sour in September, and I'm obsessed with her writing. So I was just like, I saw this, put it in the cart. It's really warped, but you know what? Whatever. I'll figure a way to unwarp it. And what's funny about that is my sister originally had it. I think it was gifted to her, and she never read it. And we decided to donate it when it was time to do spring cleaning. And I really regret it, but she's back. She's back in my arms, and I will read it. Then we have The Alchemist. I've seen mixed reviews about this on TikTok, so I'm very interested to see what it's actually about and how I feel about it, so we'll see. Then we have To Live by Yu Hua. This was originally banned in China, but recently named one of the last decade's 10 most influential books, and it tells the story of one man's epic transformation. I picked this up because I really like the cover. I think it's very simple. The title is really simple also, so it kind of works together. But I'm intrigued on why it was banned in China. So, hey. Then we have The Souls of Black Folk by W.E.B. Du Bois. This is a collection of 14 essays that describe the life, the ambitions, the struggles, and the passions of African Americans at the transition from the 19th to the 20th century. I don't really read a lot of essays, so I think this is a good place for me to start, especially considering that it is about African Americans during the 19th to the 20th century. I think that's a very interesting period of time within African American history. It kind of sets up the stage for the civil rights movement in the 60s and, so on and so forth in how African American culture is to this day. Then we have The Dubliners by James Joyce. I am reading A Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man by him as well. So I saw this and I was like, I gotta get this. I also saw somebody on TikTok was also reading it. If I finish A Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man and I enjoy it, I'll probably enjoy Dubliners. So, yeah. This big old copy of Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. Look at that. It's like holding a baby. It makes me laugh every time I see it, like just in my room. It's so funny. I don't know why it's killing me. I know for a fact from all the memes, there's at least like 3 chapters about the French sewage system in here. I can't wait to read this. I'm like dying to read it. Then we have The Dutch House by Anne Patchett. I don't really know why I picked this up. I think I've just seen it on a lot of people's TikTok list of like books they love. So I just want to check it out, kind of see what she's got going on. Then we have The Mothers by Britt Bennett. If you know me and if you've watched some of the videos on my channel, you know I love The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. So I'm really excited to kind of get into another book of hers. I'm trying not to be like, I hope it's just as good as The Vanishing Half. But, it doesn't hurt to have a little expectation, I guess. I don't know. I'm just very excited to read it. Then we have What is the What by Dave Eggers. This is an epic novel based on the life of Valentino Achak Dang, who, along with thousands of other children, the so-called Lost Boys, are forced to leave their village in Sudan at the age of 7 and trek hundreds of miles by foot, pursued by militias, government bombers, wild animals, and cross the deserts of 3 countries to find freedom. I think this would be really, really good. Like I said before, I'm trying to get into more African literature. So this is also another great place for me to start to kind of get more in depth. So I am ecstatic. I can't wait to read this. Then we have Middlesex. Again, this was another book I've seen recommended a lot on TikTok. So I saw it and I was just like, this looks kind of familiar. Let me check it out. Let me see what we got going on here. Let's see. Then we have Robert E. Hemingway's literary biography of Zora Neale Hurston. I have been trying to get into Zora Neale Hurston's work for a while. I finished Hitting a Straight Lick with a Crooked Stick, so I want to read just a bit more about her life, kind of see what inspires her to write these novels, and just learn a bit more about her. Then we have The White Album by Joan Didion, another one where I saw it was recommended on TikTok. This is another collection of essays, I believe. Again, like I said before, I don't really read a lot of essays, and a lot of people love Joan Didion, so why not? Why not try it out? Then we have The Everglades River of Grass by Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. I am from Miami. I have been to the Everglades. It's a rite of passage when you're younger to go to the Everglades as a school field trip and kind of see it for yourself rather than just read about it. But Marjorie Stoneman Douglas goes a bit more in depth at the beauty of the Everglades and how important it is to our ecosystem. And so I'm really interested to read about said ecosystem that I kind of take for granted and that I don't really enjoy as much as I should. This was not part of the library book haul. I got this at my job. They have a little lending library that you can get books from. I was very surprised to see this because most of the books in there were like business books and like leadership books. So to find A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini, thank you. Okay. I do have his other book here. I also have The Kite Runner from him that's on my TBR. I'm hoping to get to that either by the end of this year, maybe next year, possibly next year. Whew, that was a lot of content to go through. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.